All right, so we're looking at home styler today, and I want to go over a few of the things that you can work on. I have seen some people that have been finishing up houses in terms of getting furniture in, going through the style tool, doing a lot of cool things there. Definitely, I would suggest doing a lot of that stuff and really having the insides pretty well squared away before going through the steps that I'm about to show you. Obviously, I'm going to do this at this point where the house is right now. But if this was truly my garage, I'd want my garage door in. If I was going to put a workbench or cars or something like that, I'd want that in. I'd want my kitchen done, laundry room done, it's a big laundry room, stuff in the bedroom, stuff in the living room. I'd want as much of that done and styled as possible. Okay, done and styled, both. Right, and then we would start to do some of the steps I'm about to show you. What I'm going to start with is the roof. Now, I on purpose have my house being this shape because I would likely in this house run a ridge, kind of a main ridge this way, but I also then have a part that sticks out where I would need a ridge that's perpendicular to it or goes in a different direction. And I would also need one that runs parallel to it. So I'm going to be able to put both of those on. The roof in this tool is not as clean as it is in a tool like Revit, but that's okay. We can do our best. So these are a couple tricks I've learned working out how to put this roof on. So that's where we'll go ahead and start. So it is under building. And then when you go down, it's under roofs. I am going to go ahead and let them load. Um, just as a little tip, whichever roof you decide to go with, you should click the favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and I'm going to add it to my favorites. That way I don't have to come here every single time. When you click it, you get a basic start of a roof, and it kind of wants to add itself in to a corner. Unlike Revit, it kind of wants to show the roof as being inside the walls. So go ahead and just roll with that like it is. Now, a few different things to adjust. I've got some handles on the screen. I've also got some different adjustments here. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull it out. Now it seems to kind of like get attached to certain walls, so you may or may not be able to pull it all the way out to here. Okay, and now I'm going to try to pull this up. Yep, and it did let me attach it to where I wanted it to. Some of the time, if it won't let you, you may have to hold the control key, which is CTRL. And then when you get on this, you can basically drag it as you want to. Okay? So I got it to the point where it touches it. Now, if I go to my orbit view, and I kind of come and I rotate my view down a little bit where you can see the roof, you will see that it's down inside the walls. So I am going to click lift and I'm going to lift it all the way to the top. That really helps it meet better. You'll notice it's also fairly flat. So I'm going to go ahead and bump the height up. In all honesty, and I'm going to bump it all the way up. You can bump these two up, and I would not then adjust width and length in this view because if I go back to my plane view, width is side to side, or I'm sorry, they used, I think, width for this direction and length for this, which technically incorrect, but we're not going to bother with that. So that's kind of what gets you that first primary roof. Now, if I want another one, nicely I added it to my favorites. So as I pull my favorites up, it's still going to make me wait. This might just be my internet running a little bit slow. And there we go. But I can grab this. And now I'm going to do the one that's parallel to it. So it does, again, it kind of wants to attach on an inside corner, which is fine. I'm going to drag this down so it covered up the room that I wanted it to. And I'm actually going to, and I might have to use control in this case, I'm going to control drag this here, or if I take my, I think it's length, nope, length is wrong. So if you do that like I did, you can just kind of grab those edges and bring them back. Width. And then I'm going to grab this whole thing. I was able to do it before. Why is it not wanting to do it now? Control drag. Oh, it did go. Okay. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it into, and because I make the height the same, it shouldn't stick into it at all. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to my orbit view. And I am going to orbit around and see, and you'll notice that it's, the nice part is it's above where it's contacting, it's above the ceiling, so you're not going to see that from the inside. But yeah, right now it's kind of tucking in under. So when I click on it, I can also pull this. All right, so that's pulled all the way up. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to mess with the height. And I'm going to start bumping the height up to the point where, see, it's like almost there. Like right there. It kind of matches. And this is a little bit closer to the way it would be. I know it's kind of, it doesn't look quite the same. But like I said, there doesn't seem to be a way to merge the roof like there is in like Revit. So we're just going to go ahead and roll with that. I'm going to go back to my plane view. I'm going to look at the top here. And again, I can either go back to favorites, which loaded faster for me this time. And I am going to put this on a corner here. I am going to rotate it using that tool, rotate 90 degrees. I'm going to drag it down there, and I'm going to drag it across there. This, kind of like the other one, I want to make sure that this is dragged back into this roof. I'm actually going to drag that all the way, that point all the way back to the ridge. So when I go into my orbit view, oh, it's down too low still, so we're going to go and click on it. Bring that up to the top. Bring the height up to the top because I want it to match the other roof. And as I move this around, try to get the other roof to pop in. Oh, there we go. We kind of get that look that we're talking about where we'll get a valley right here because I bring the two ridges back to meet. Now it does look, they would give me the actual view here, it does, you do see this kind of overlapping section here. Not quite sure how it would look if I got in and looked just directly at the side, but that's okay. So that for the plane view, that gets me my roof. And you'll see, again, it's not perfect, but you'll also see why I wanted the interior stuff done. If you do have to go in and work on your interior some more after doing this, you do not have to delete them, but when you right click on them, you will have the option to hide a roof. Okay, but unfortunately it does hide it in every view. So if you look, I'm looking at this right now, doesn't matter what I do, that roof is not coming back right now because it's hidden. Okay, the ceiling is still there, but that happens the minute you add a roof. So back to plan view. I believe if I click show all, then yeah, then that comes back because that roof is attached to that room. All right, so one of the things that's going to be really pretty interesting to do in this project is to add the site plan. So here we go. We're going to do this by creating rooms, okay? Which I know sounds a little weird, but you can go ahead and follow along with me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on the very corner. I'm going to start drawing down. And what I'm actually drawing right now is my driveway. And to set this up correctly so that my everything's the right size, you need to make your driveway the same length I make mine. And that is, you need to make it 26 feet. Okay, so make it 26 feet down. And we're going to go across so that it meets or is close to it. I can show you, you can adjust it later. You'll notice I kind of got a little bit crooked. I hit escape and I grab this point right here, I can bring that back straight. Okay. If I wanted to name it right now, I could name it driveway. But here's what I need to do. These three walls, this area is walled in and does have a roof or a ceiling. So in order to make it an outdoor space, what I need to do is I need to turn yes to no. and then I'm going to click on a wall. And right now it's a full height wall. I'm going to change it to a partial wall. And I really don't want a wall here at all, but it won't let me set either of these as a thickness of 0. Okay, so I have to set them as something. So I found what the minimums were, and the minimum thickness is 2 inches. So I can just push 2 and then click enter. And the minimum height is 4 inches. So I can push 4 and enter. And that will give me the shortest, smallest wall possible. So again, partial, 2, and 4. Again, those are in inches. And you'll see, notice that mine get quite small. So again, partial, 2 inches thick, 4 inches tall. Okay, so that gets those as small as possible. I can also click on this space, click style, and under others, I'm going to click concrete. I'm going to add concrete to my favorites and go ahead and make that one concrete. So as you can see, it's got a little bitty lip above it, but we're honestly just going to have to ignore this because it won't let us totally 100% get rid of it, but we do need it there to help at least with our spacing. But go ahead and pull that off the garage. Now I'm going to go up to the plane view. I am going to do draw room, and I'm going to make a box. I'm going to move this in a little bit, but I just clicked once, I dragged out, and here are my 2 measurements. They are 90 feet, so 90 feet, and then push tab to go to the other one, and then 4 feet. Make sure you put the apostrophe in for feet, and then push enter. Okay, this is my sidewalk. So I'm going to hit escape to get the pointer tool back. Again, I have a few things. Number 1, no roof. Number 2, all 4 walls are partial walls. I wish you could do this faster, but it doesn't seem, I haven't so far found a way to do it any faster than what we're doing right here. Okay, so come in partial, 2, enter, 4, enter. Next wall, partial, 2, 4, and I'll do the last one here, partial, 2 inches, 4 inches. Now, I'm going to also, under style, tell this one to be, let's see, oh no, can't do that. Favorites, concrete. Okay, so now it's my concrete sidewalk. So if you want to go ahead and name it that, that's fine. From this view, I am going to move it. So I get on this and I can move, and I want to overlap those end walls, okay, like this, so they actually go together. Okay, and what I want to do is kind of center my house. So the area from here over is about the same as the area from here over, okay, because I'm kind of constructing my site plan based off of this. And now the next thing that you have to do is a lot of people are going to want to, by the way, if your cursor gets stuck, sometimes coming over the menu will make it work. Other times switching views will make it work. If it gets stuck in the fist like this, where when you let go, it doesn't want to go back to the pointer. Anyways, I'm now going to add my yard. With the yard, you are going to want to do several things. Okay. Number 1, you may wish to do a front yard and a backyard. If so, you're going to have to do the math, and I'll show you a little bit about how to do that. Number 2, when you go to create room, you have to do by edge. If you draw the room as a box, you're going to end up with your yard overlapping these other areas. Okay. You have to use the individual walls. Otherwise, it will not add the space and enclose it. It will create a space that includes your house, and you'll have overlapping floors, and it's a big mess. Okay, so that's why you have to do it this way. So as I start, I'm going to get on this. Now, if I was going to just go straight up, and not worry about a front yard, backyard, which you are, okay, I would just go up 120 feet because that's how tall yours was. So I'm going to actually come up some, let's see, I'm trying to kind of figure out where this edge would be. So I'm going to estimate it there and then come in, which that's perfect right there. Okay. And then did that give me enclosed space? It did not. So I found my problem. You'll notice that these walls didn't actually connect. So I can actually still, if I move this away, I can click in this space and I can still move this space away. And that's actually what my problem is. So I'm going to go ahead and move the space close, zoom in. And what I want to do when I move this is I got to get them to basically, you see I moved it up enough, and I can't move it up anymore, but I moved it up to the point where they connect. Okay, these are now connected. And so what that gives me now is it gives me an enclosed space. So if I do what I was trying to do before, which I may have cut out, try it again here, where I start here on the very edge, I draw up, I decide to make a like front yard, backyard situation here. I'm going to go ahead and come up high enough, and then I'm going to come down to the edge there, and you'll notice this area did enclose itself. I'm going to hit escape, and I am going to grab the end of this and straighten. Maybe. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm going to straighten that wall. Okay, so this is where I'm going to play with a couple of things. First off, I really don't want this edge wall there, so I'm definitely going to call this one partial. Definitely going to make this one the one that's the teeniest, tiniest wall I can. And I'm definitely going to want to make this space not roofed. The other thing I'm going to do is right now I have a wall here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a fence by telling it to be partial, by giving it the thickness of, I'm going to go with 3 just so it looks a little different than my teeny tiny walls. And you're usually going to have, if you have like the wood slat fence, it's usually going to be 6 feet tall. So I'm going to give this one 6 feet and hit enter. So this is what I'm going to end up turning into like a fence. Okay, so remember your settings because when I pick this up and draw the rest of the yard, I'm definitely going to want to use that. All right, so the next thing to know is, well, how far is that? So if I look at this wall that I drew here, it says 47 feet 10 inches. I also know that down lower, I've got 4 feet in my sidewalk. So 4710 plus 4 gives me 5110. I'm going to go ahead and round it up to 52 just because of the thickness of some of this stuff. So if I already have 52, then from here, my distance I want to keep drawing where I will get a room by edge. And I will click this one here. Is when I go up, if that was 52, then I have 68 feet of my plot left to go. So I've got 68 feet back there. I'm going to zoom out. Then I'm going to go this way 90 feet. That's the width of my lot. If you do what I just did, you went 90 inches. So escape there, undo that, go on create room by edge, zoom in and start again. And now I'm going to do 90 feet. And now just to make sure that I kind of have the fence end at about the same spot over here, I'm going to come down that same 68 feet. And then come over, straight over to the point where I meet the house. And again, that should enclose an area back here. This is again where, and I've shown you this before, so I'm not going to keep doing the same thing so that you have to keep watching the same thing. But then in this area, yeah, definitely take the roofing off, change these to be your fence style. Okay, so all 4 of the walls that I just drew, I will change to be the fence style. And then for my last one, where I create a room by edge, I'm going to come from this corner right here, straight down to this corner right here, which again, that should match. And if it doesn't, this might mean I'm off somewhere, so I might need to scoot this one in. I'll turn that one off as well. Hit escape. I'll turn this one off as well. Roof off, wall off, yada, 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 to be the other part of the front yard. Now, these don't look very yard-like because if you kind of look over on my preview, most of these are wood floors now. But you can see it did not change the concrete floor here. It did not change the tile floor or the carpet floor in my other rooms, which is what we're looking for. Okay? If you come over to your orbit view, and you have other rooms that are other floor types, and as you do this, you have this wood type flashing in here, that means you just drew a room around it, and it is not correct. Okay, so make sure you fix that. Here's the other thing, and it's real easy to do in this one, is if I click on the style for floors, I can also go to others, and know which grass you pick. I'm going to pick this one here because it looks like spring grass. I'm going to add it to my favorites, and I'm going to pick that one. And that's going to should make it pretty easy for me to just click these. Others, I guess I have to go back to it unless I do it a different way, which you can. The other way you can do it, just as a reminder, if I click this area and I click style, I can go there, or I can just go to favorites and then click grass, and it'll change it there. Do use the same grass pattern in all of your grassy areas, but also keep in mind, you do not have to just do grassy areas, okay? One of the things I might have done beforehand was I might have added a little walkway up to my front door, made that concrete, and maybe this area here gets one of these cool, under others, maybe one of these cool rock area type ones. Okay, there's concrete again. I've got sand if I want to create a sandbox. Got a water one if I want to create a pool, maybe with a concrete deck around it. The bricks, there's some that are cool, like if you wanted a brick type outdoor seating space. By the way, if I wanted a back porch, I could have done the same thing where I drew a room, take the roof off. Maybe I set the walls up as like a thin 4 foot tall, kind of like a railing. I bet you could use a wall opening to create an opening to walk off the deck, but then maybe, or deck or patio, but then maybe you use something like this to do a nice little gray patio. Okay, there's lots of other things. You could also maybe look under the wood styles to find something that looks like a wood deck. As you then look under building, or I'm sorry, under catalog, keep a few things in mind. You've definitely got some plants and flowers that you can use for outside. You've also got outdoor living, which is where some of you may have found cars already. But I've got playground equipment. If you've got children in this house, I might want to put a play set in the back area. Again, I showed you how you could do a sandbox or a gravel area or around it. Patio furniture. I bet just as we look at this, there's a ton of stuff in here. And again, I know my internet's running a little slow and I don't want you to have to keep watching this, but this is how you can start to go from, I don't know why the piano's in outdoor living, but okay. Swings, different exterior things. I wouldn't put my pool table outside, but if you were looking for one for a game room inside, that's where that is. Rounded stone. I've got some stone things that you could put out there. Okay, plants, outdoor tables and chairs. You probably want a roof for this one, otherwise it's just dangling there, which is weird. But as you can see, I've got 8 pages of stuff like this. So don't be afraid to go and look through that. This is not anything I want anytime soon. You do have a couple weeks from the posting of this video until I expect that your site plan, for lack of a better term, to use the Revit terms, where I would expect your site plan is much more finished. I'm going to continue with this one. You might see some of these floors go away, but I do want to be able to post at least a screenshot of what I ended up being able to do so that people who have questions can send them to me. That's going to do it for this demo. Let me know if there are questions.